Welcome back to Introduction to iOS Programming at SSFS. So we've got our Space Adventure class going where we get some information from the user. We have a planetary system that has names and planets, but we have nothing defined for what a planet is and what type of information it needs to store. So in this lesson, we're going to take a look at the planet class. So let's go ahead and use the project navigator. I'm going to hit Command 1 and then down arrow to get to our planet class. Well, I guess some basic information our planets should have is we need to let it needs a name, and that should be a string. And planet should have a description. That should also be a string. Notice we're getting an error, and it's the same initialization error as we saw before, because if I created an instance of class planet now, there would be no values for name and description. So I need to force the user to give me that information at runtime. Let's do init. I'm going to do name, string, and then description. It's also a string. Looks like I got a capital T in here. Let me change that. And then I will self.name equals name, self.description equals description. Okay, so there we go. I have initialized my planet and created the basics of a planet class. So now that we have that, we can start to actually create some planets to populate our planetary system. So we're going to actually do that in our Space Adventure class. So I'm going to hit the Command 1, go back to Space Adventure, and we're going to let that class do the work of creating some planets. So when we create a space adventure, we could actually have that class initialize a planetary system. So I can create an initialization method, and within that, I could create some planets. So I'll say let Mercury equal a planet, and the name will be Mercury, and the description, I hit tab to get to the description, a very hot planet closest to the sun. So I've created a planet, Mercury, and now I want to add that planet to my planetary system. So I'm going to say planetary system dot planets, that's the array of planets, dot append, and I'm going to append Mercury. So I created Mercury, and now I'm appending it to the planets array of the planetary system. But I have an error, and it says cannot use mutating member on immutable value. Planets is a let constant. That means when I defined the array of planets in a planetary system, I'm going back to that file, I use the keyword let, which makes that array immutable. So I'm actually going to have to change that to var, and now that array is mutable. I can change it, and you notice the error goes away. So now if I go back to my Space Adventure class, there's no error. So when I initialize a Space Adventure class, it creates the planet Mercury, and it appends it to the array of planets within that planetary system. Let's go ahead and run this. Stop the previous version running. And now you notice that there is one planet to explore, and that planet is Mercury. So what I've done is I'm starting to encapsulate information into different classes. Planet holds information about planets. Planetary system has a name and then an array of planets. And SpaceAdventure initializes different planets and adds them to the array in the planetary system. So far, our class is coming along, except we know we have other planets within our solar system that need to be added. And we'll do that next.